The idea of starting my own business came really when I was in college, when I realized that graduation was coming close, and I was a student activist, loudmouth, always getting into trouble, student activist, and I realized, like, I'm not able to get a job. We just shut down the school for 3 days. I graduated from Howard University. We took over the school. It was international news. We found out we were listed on the terrorist list, and I was like, I'm not going to get a job. So I better start thinking of some other things. My whole thing was to be a writer. I was an English major, so I was so busy being an activist. My grades were okay, but I was so busy being an activist, I hadn't done the whole job hunt thing. I hadn't lined anything up, and then we were just doing all of this radical great work, and I was like, yeah, I got to start thinking of some ways. It's either that or graduate school. So I went to graduate school for a year. Was completely burnt out from being a student activist and all of the pressure that came with that, including death threats and from across the country. And I was just burnt out. I needed to get out of Howard University. I needed to get out of DC. And I went to work with Dougie Fresh. But when I realized that I probably needed to create something for myself, I wanted to be AKILA WorkSongs to be a publishing company. We were going to publish books. So that was, and it was my brother and I, that was the first push for AKILA, and that didn't pan out. The idea for me to have my own business was there, but at the time I had left graduate school. I only did a year at Howard. I was working with Dougie Fresh as his assistant and working in the music entertainment business, trying to marry arts and activism at that early stage, as I had done in college. I taught for a couple of years, 7th and 8th grade, language arts, as they used to call it then, and drama and reading, and I was still doing AKILA WorkSongs on the side. It was a publishing company, then that fizzled, and I said, okay, let's try a speakers bureau, and that was the main thrust for AKILA WorkSongs in the early 90s, was a speakers bureau. And but the idea came from me realizing that I had to create my own economic way in the world, because I was just not your traditional corporate type. I hadn't done the things that you're told that you're supposed to do to get a job when you're a student. I don't know if I ever went to a job fair, and I just knew that I had this naive notion that if I ever put my resume anywhere, there'd be a red flag attached to it that I didn't see, like she's a troublemaker. So I just said I had to figure out something, and took little baby steps along the way. And the business was starting as a speakers bureau, but it wasn't until 1998, 5 years later, that I did what my uncle suggested that I do, which was throw my wallet over the fence. He said, April, if you throw your wallet over the fence, you're going to go find it. And you're not going to establish your business in a solid way until you chase the money, so to speak, unless you stretch yourself. And that was his little saying. Entrepreneurship is not something that runs deep in my family at all, on either side. But it was still that conversation from him that he said it in a loving way, like your business will be fine if you just make it be fine, if you push yourself, find the money, find a way to create the money. In 1998, I did just that. I left my day job at the time, which was, I was a marketing coordinator at BMS Family Health Center, and I was doing AKILA WorkSongs on the side. But by October 23rd, 1998, I said that was my last day at BMS, and I've been running the business as a full-time operation ever since.